Have you ever noticed that once people reach a certain age, they always look as if they've just been told their mother died? I don't know what it is. Maybe life is harder than most people expect, and they've gone through something that will stick with them for the rest of their lives. Or maybe it's the opposite. They're going through nothing at all. And when you're in that spot, boredom and loneliness are the same thing. This is the kind of thing that inspired me to write my poem, I Hope Life Isn't Found in the Eyes. Although it was initially titled, I Sure Hope Life Isn't Found in the Eyes. But that seemed like it was trying a bit too hard to be casual, and just ended up sounding pretentious. Anyway, here's the poem. I write this, wide-eyed, despite life's efforts to push me to grieve absolutely nothing. Or to grieve the absolute nothing. It's at least a little true. I worry I'll end up like one of those everyday ghouls, whose eyes sag, as if in an effort to reach for the whole point. The mourning must be for something, right? I made sure to express a sympathy in this poem, but also a genuine curiosity and maybe a little fear of one day ending up like this. It seemed right to couple this poem with a piece of music, something for a small ensemble, so I wrote a piece for B-flat trumpet, violin, viola, cello, and piano. For this piece, I decided to evoke a transformation, since the poem is all about people who seem to lose their spark. But I didn't want to do it in the traditional way of transforming the main theme from one mode to another, or anything like that. So I used a method of composition I've been interested in a lot lately, which I call associative voice leading. I use it to create new and unique combinations of sounds, as well as to produce a fresher approach to creating. Experimentations in voice leading and intervallic combinations have led me to some interesting areas of discovery and expression. Here's how it works. I use a model of harmonic intervals between voices, which are determined by melodic intervals in another voice, or in some instances, the other way around, with the melodic intervals being determined by harmonic intervals. The transformation aspect I mentioned earlier is created by using one model for the first bit of the piece, then another for the last bit. The music produced is not a mere expression of mathematical equations or a particular model, but a work which represents drama and interest through strengthened associations between otherwise abstract elements. To explain this, I've created a system of simple terms and notation as follows. First species is note against note. Second species is when the harmonic interval between voices is determined by the most recent melodic interval in another voice. Third species is when the harmonic interval between voices is determined by the intervallic skeleton or frame of another voice. Primary voicing is when the harmonic interval determined by the melodic interval occurs under the melodic voice. Secondary voicing is when the harmonic interval determined by the melodic interval occurs above the melodic voice. And inversion is when the specific pitch class determined by the melodic interval is moved either from under to above the melodic note, or from above to under the melodic note. To notate this, I like to list the species, the melodic voice it pertains to, the type of voicing, and then, if applicable, if it's inverted. Here is how the first model of the piece works. A minor second in the melody produces a minor third in the harmony. Major second produces major third, minor third produces perfect fourth, major third, tritone, perfect fourth, a perfect fifth, tritone produces minor sixth, perfect fifth produces major sixth, minor sixth, a minor seventh, major sixth, a major seventh, minor seventh produces an octave, major seventh produces a minor second, and lastly, an octave produces a major second. I should like to add that a model does not produce the beginning notes. The piece follows a main theme which moves upward in a stepwise manner by constant eighth notes, then falls quickly back down. It's in a sort of F Locrian mode with a sharp 6. This main theme is first heard after an introduction which revolves around the trumpet, viola, and cello passing around the same two notes, concert D and concert E, creating an eerie and lonely atmosphere. And since the viola and cello are added gradually after one another, the eeriness and loneliness becomes increasingly overwhelming. The viola then slides up from E to F to transition to the first thematic section, which features all of the instruments, with the lower strings and piano providing accompaniment, and the violin providing a counter-melody to the trumpet, who has the main melody. The violin employs the first species to the trumpet melody, the viola plays whole notes in third species to the trumpet, the cello plays third species to the viola, and the piano plays an ostinato in the lower register revolving around minor thirds, which are produced by the recent minor second glissando in the viola. The descending major second, which produces a chord built of major thirds in the piano because of the model being used, is heard as an inversion of the ascending major second, which opened the piece. Then, the trumpet and violin trade roles with the viola and cello, now that the viola has the melody. The trumpet is in third species to the viola, the violin is in first species to the trumpet, the cello retains the first species relation to the viola, and the piano's right hand is in second species secondary voicing to the viola and cello, while its left hand is in second species primary voicing to the viola and cello. What follows is the theme in the very high register of the piano, sounding almost like a toy piano. The strings then play hocketed harmonics in second species to the piano, but sustained through the bar, before accompanying the piano in octaves for a bar each. Bars 42 through 48 reintroduce the trumpet, who plays a modified version of the theme, which gives it some motivation. The cello accompanies in first, then second species, and the piano accompanies in second. I then use the figure of a descending second to introduce a new rhythmic motif in the piano, a dotted eighth followed by a 16th, followed by a half note. Up next is the Hocking arrangement, including trumpet this time, serving as an accompaniment to a more motivated rendition of the dotted eighth plus 16th rhythm in the piano, this time followed only by a quarter rather than a half note. This figure is in the right hand, but a reply is heard in the left. Only the contour is inverted. The piano is in third species to itself, with both hands determining the next note in the other hand. The violin is in second species to the piano, the viola is in first species to the violin, the cello is in first species to the viola, and the trumpet is in first species to the cello. With much of the piece using smooth articulations, the next section has some more drive to it, featuring staccato articulation in the piano. In addition to this, I use a different voice leading model this time. Now, a melodic minor second will produce a harmonic perfect fourth. Major second will produce tritone. Minor third will produce perfect fifth. Major third will produce minor sixth, perfect fourth, a major sixth, tritones, a minor seventh, perfect fifth, a major seventh, minor sixth, an octave, major sixth, a minor second, minor seventh will produce major second, major seventh will produce minor third, and an octave will produce a major third. While the piano retains the staccato offbeats, the trumpet and viola recall the opening figure of the ascending major second, but this time it's a descending minor second, surrounded by a sustained accompaniment in the violin and cello to produce a stronger, yet more violent atmosphere. And after a sudden halt in the motion, comes a slide in the viola to reintroduce the theme in the trumpet. Only this time, the slide is a major second down from E to D, rather than a minor second up from E to F, as in the beginning. This section is a bit of a recapitulation, with all the instruments occupying similar roles as in the beginning, but with the new intervallic model, of course, and the piano galloping along in triplets. Next, the theme is in the viola, with the cello in first species to it, the trumpet in third, the violin in second species to the trumpet, and the piano's right hand is in second species secondary voicing to the viola and cello, while its left hand is in second species primary voicing to the viola and cello, a configuration used earlier. The volume then decreases and the texture thins when the piano drops out, and the viola and cello provide a blurred accompaniment in eighth triplets against sixteenths, while the violin plays the dotted eighth plus 16th figure with the trumpet in second species and secondary voicing to it. The texture becomes even more sparse when rests are added, and certain notes are sustained longer. The piano then carries us back into a thick statement of the main theme in the trumpet, over the violin in first species, viola in octaves, cello in first species, and the piano giving accompaniment in quarter triplets in the right hand and eighth triplets in the left. The dotted eighth to 16th figure returns in the trumpet, then piano, with the piano displacing it by a 16th rest on every statement. The trumpet then plays the figure in rising aggression until we're hit with silence. ending is a simple statement of the theme in octaves among everyone but the piano, who only joins on the sharp sixth and takes it home to a chord built from an open fifth, giving the finality of the piece a stoic and almost medieval quality.